Good evening. It's September, which means it's time for yet another trip to the craft store and craft store haul. Well, I already did the going to the craft store part, but I wanted to show you what I got this month. So for those of you who are new, which you probably are because I've only done one other of these videos so far, I like to take the time to go to my local craft store once a month at minimum in order to buy just something, spending at least 1,000 yen, maybe 2,000, usually around 2,000, just to, help keep the business going. I'm not the biggest patron in the world, but I want to make sure that they stay active and open because I've seen so many of my other local craft stores go out of business, and I don't want to lose this one too. So yeah, basically at this point in my crafting life, I have way more than enough fabric for basically most projects I could want to do. So instead of buying more fabric, even though I really, really want to, what I do instead, and what I have done today, is focus on notions. I'd love to hear what you like to buy in lieu of fabric and yarn if you're a knitter like myself. But yeah, so let's get started. So the first thing I got was this sewing pattern. So they do have this section, which I've seen many times, that is primarily bags and little purses and things, honestly, but it just kits. It's the pattern plus everything you need to make the pattern, including if you need quilt batting and fabric and like the handles, if they need handles and all that stuff. And those are cool and all, but they're expensive, so I don't need those. I have fabric, but today I turned around and realized that they were also selling individual patterns. And I have gotten patterns from them before, but like in other, like from noticing them in other sections of the store. So yeah, this just felt like, oh, obviously, I want to make this bag. I've been eyeing the physical bag. This bag is in the store. These are hand-drawn, handwritten patterns that they have photocopied, so you can only buy them at that location. I love it. But I kept looking at the actual physical sample, and there are a lot of like construction elements to the bag that I've never personally done before in sewing, so it just felt like an obvious choice of like, hey, I want to step up my game. Let's try following a pattern that has this kind of detail. Now, some of the stuff with their other patterns, I've had to do a lot of searching online to make sure I understand things correctly, but all in all, it's basically like if you know sewing, you can usually follow their patterns pretty well. Of course, it's all in Japanese and everything, just to clarify, but yeah. So that's the first bit there. So the next thing I got, I'm pretty sure I've never gotten these before, is some lace, particularly lace fabric intended for like edges and stuff. I got 3 meters. It was very cheap. It was on sale. I know it's not like the nicest lace fabric in the world, and certainly I could also probably figure out a way to make some myself or whatever, but I just wanted to be able to experiment with that sometime in the future. I don't know exactly in what kind of project I will use it for, but it was a nice enough fabric that it felt like worth adding to the stash, if you will. So yeah, that was the next thing I got. So next thing I got was some basting thread. Now, I do already have basting thread, and if you don't know, basting thread is what you use to attach pieces of fabric together. Typically, in my case, as a hand quilter, that is to attach quilt batting to a piece of fabric or like a piece of patchwork. You do it this way just to kind of start it off provisionally, and then you put in your actual stitches, and once you're all done with that, then you can pull out the basting stitches. So it's a temporary thing. It's a very thin thread, and yeah, all that. But the only one I have is in white that I got from Daiso. It's perfectly good basting thread. So since I saw it here in black, I thought, why not also have it in black, because it'll stand out more against my projects, since most of my stuff and most of my fabric is in very bright colors. It made sense. And then the next thread I got was some regular hand sewing thread. Oh, that one's upside down, but it doesn't really matter. So I got 2 grays. I would say they're probably roughly the same shade, but this one is a cool gray and this one is a warm gray. I think even on camera you can see the difference. But basically I got these because I have heard through the grapevine that is crafting social media that using gray thread can be really good to help with multicolored fabric, which I use a lot of, as opposed to like using a white thread or even a black thread. It's like using gray will reflect the colors of your fabric better and therefore blend in more. So I wanted to test that theory, and I couldn't choose between cool and warm gray, so I got both. It made sense. Last but certainly not least, I got some zippers. So first one, I got a kind of wine red invisible zipper. I wear a lot of, in fact, wow, this goes well with my shirt. I wear a lot of pinks and reds, and I have a lot of pink and red fabric, so an invisible zipper made sense. I think I have bought invisible zippers before. I have yet to actually use one in a project, but that's mostly because I don't do a lot of form-fitting stuff, as I've had a lot of changes in my body over the past, however many years. So I just hesitated to do so. So, as I expand my horizons, as I expand my skill set, I look forward to getting into the world of using invisible zippers. It makes most sense for clothing, which I don't make a lot of, or I usually make skirts. So anyway, I mean, you could use one in the skirt, but yeah. Anyway, so the other zippers I got, so these are 3, they're upside down, it's fine. So I got 3 zippers. So you can see they are the same exact zipper, just in different colors. Again, like I have your standard zippers or whatever, but I use a lot of bright colors, so bright color zippers make sense to me. And I have, pink zippers and purple zippers already, but these are all, if I have these colors already, I don't have many of them, so it makes sense. In fact, the pattern I bought today calls for a 30 centimeter zipper, and those are 30 centimeter zippers, so could be an idea for the future. Anyways, that's everything that I got today. I don't know when I will use these things. I think I said that last time too, but as always, I am just trying to do my best to figure out something I could possibly need. I've also been in a bit of a slump crafting wise, for understandable reasons. I had a pretty major family loss, so I am trying to get back into the swing of things, basically for everything hobby related, honestly. Slowly but surely doing more knitting, and trying to get back into sewing. I'm also in the middle of working on cleaning my room, which is turning out to be, I mean, I knew it was a big project, but it's turning out to be a very big project. So hopefully amongst all that, I can also try to balance and get back to having a kind of controlled space for crafting, which was kind of one of the intentions with my rearranging of all my furniture and everything. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that was everything I got. I have nothing else to say, but I definitely would love to hear what you are getting these days, what you're making, and also as I try to do more of these crafting type videos, I'd love to hear from you what you want to see from me or what you want to know about me. I want to do some introductory videos about my crafting history and things. But yeah, for now, that is that. So I guess I'll see you next time, at minimum next month. So bye-bye.